Hi, I'm Mike Bulling. Welcome to this video on water in fuel. In this short video, we'll look at the sources of water, routine water removal from your fuel tank, indicators of water in your fuel, and fuel bug and what to do about it. Water in fuel when purchased from shore facilities is not common in Australia, but it certainly is a risk if you're taking fuel from another vessel or from a facility in a third world country. Condensation in tanks is caused when moist air is drawn into the tank and then chilled down. Fuel tanks' adjacent freezer compartments are particularly vulnerable. Modern diesel engines have high fuel return rates which heat up the tank. And when they're shut down, the tank draws in cold air as the tank cools, and water is released from the air by condensation. If this cycle is repeated routinely, a considerable volume of water can result. The best scenario is to use a day tank system and always top the day tank up when shutting down to reduce the amount of air in the tank. I've experienced leakage due to dip tube plugs that were flush with the deck not being adequately sealed, and also due to a broken gooseneck vent pipe that had been damaged by a forklift while loading cargo. With seawater rolling across the deck, both these scenarios allowed a great deal of water to enter the fuel tanks. I know of several instances where water from one contaminated tank has been pumped through to every fuel tank on board while trying to get the fuel level in the affected tank below the inspection plate level. And I know of 3 different events where water has been added to the fuel tanks via the vent pipe by persons selecting the wrong vent pipe, 2 of which were incorrectly labelled, while trying to flush out sewage tanks. It's important to correctly identify all tank vents, filling and sounding pipes on the vessel. A fuel tank should have the provision to drain water from the bottom of the tank. If this is not possible, a water stripping pump pipe may be provided to draw water from the lowest point in the tank. If these features aren't provided, you can feed a suction line down the dip tube and draw any water from the bottom of the tank using a small portable pump. It's important that one of these methods are routinely used to ensure that there is no water in your fuel tank. Water traps should be routinely drained to ensure that trapped water is removed. The water trap body may be clear to allow visual inspection, but should also have water in fuel alarm built into it to alert you to the presence of water in the fuel, as the trap only has a small capacity to remove water from the fuel. In the event of picking up a large slug of water, you would want the alarm to warn you so that you could shut the engine down before it was passed into the fuel injection system. Because even a small amount of water will do considerable damage to components in your fuel injection system, and even more so in a modern common rail system. The cost can run into thousands of dollars. Also, to alert you to filter blockage, it's good practice to have a differential pressure gauge across the filter. High differential pressure indicates increased fuel filter blockage. As you can see, both of the examples shown here are fitted with differential pressure gauges. Bacteria in diesel is a well-known problem to anyone who works with diesel engines. So what is this bug and why does it contaminate diesel? Diesel is an organic fuel, so it provides an ideal environment with everything the microscopic fungi, yeast and bacteria need to breed, feed and grow. There are as many as 27 different varieties of bacteria that are responsible for the majority of problems with diesel engines and their performance. There are differing types of bacteria which can infect systems and form biofilms on steel surfaces. Accelerated localized corrosion can also occur wherever the biofilm settles, often in pits or crevices in the tank structure. Unlike general corrosion, this is an attack on a very specific area. It's very difficult to determine when a system is first contaminated, but once the fuel system is contaminated, it's very difficult to eradicate the cause. Diesel bug can enter the tank in air or moisture as the tank breathes when transferring fuel out, or as the tank cools, or in the fuel during tank filling. The bacteria cover themselves in a protective slime to protect against biocides and can lie dormant in the minute crevices of the metal, rubber and polyurethane coatings of the fuel tanks and in the fuel systems. Then, when even a small quantity of water is present and the environment hits the right temperature range, they begin to breed in the area of the fuel-water interface. Microscopic in size, they can develop into a mat easily visible to the naked eye very rapidly. A single cell weighing only a millionth of a gram can grow to a 10 kilogram biomass in just 12 hours. Resulting in a biomass several centimetres thick across the fuel-water interface of the tank. The different bacteria work in concert to create an environment where the pH becomes more acidic, causing corrosion, sludge, and the generation of hydrogen sulfide gas, which is also known as rotten egg gas. The increased acidity in the fuel acts on fuel system components to increase wear and corrosion, reducing the efficiency of the fuel injection system. You may also find these bacteria in oily bilge water, giving the rotten bilge smell, which is also hydrogen sulfide gas. And this smell indicates the presence of these bacteria. Oily bilge water storage tanks are also at risk. The bacteria also contribute to corrosion, eating steel and reducing ferrite to an oxide through a chemical reaction. Yeasts, preferring acidic environments, thrive on the pH levels produced by diesel bug bacteria. Fungi, only a few microns in diameter, form thick, tough, intertwined mats at the fuel-water interfaces. All of these things can and do cause harm to your fuel system. The black sludge that you see as a result of fuel bug is the remains of dead bacteria, yeasts and fungi from a contaminated fuel tank. Fuel filters will rapidly block when a system has fuel bug contamination. You can treat fuel bug with a biocide added to the fuel, but be aware that you'll get a lot of black sludge once the microorganisms die. The fuel tanks need to be thoroughly cleaned after this has occurred. Don't forget the slime coating that the bacteria form to protect themselves from the biocide. And once begun, biocide treatment should be routinely continued to ensure that no further contamination occurs. Alternatively, you can fit a debug magnetic filter. This works by passing the fuel through a strong magnetic field. This magnetic field destroys the cell wall of the microorganism, killing it and breaking up its structure. Engines with large fuel return flows will quickly clean the microorganisms out of the supply tank using this system. Further information on debug magnetic filters can be obtained by visiting their site at diesel-debug.com/. To find out more about how to maintain your boat to ensure a safer and trouble-free boating experience, visit my website. Type http://boatmaintenanceandsafety.com/ into your web browser. Or follow my Facebook page at MBM Boat Maintenance and Training. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found it interesting and that it helps you maintain your boat to keep it safe and reliable. I wish you all safe boating until we meet again. This is Mike Bulling saying bye for now.